I don't care if you're a builder from Terran Republic, New Conglomerate, Vanu, this is some big news for construction here. So let's get into it. Alrighty, the article update under construction. There is a lot of good stuff in here, guys, so let's dive right into it. Hey there, it's been a while since we've given a proper update on construction, but I hope folks have been able to catch some of the teasers the team has released here and there on social media. Below, we'll share a handful of new structures on the way and touch on some areas where our design has seen iteration since its original debut. Worth noting, here is all of the art below that is still in progress. So I'm going to be showing off every single picture, GIF, everything in this article, guys. I don't want you to miss a thing. Lattice-based construction areas. Construction outposts like Solus Nature Annex on Amerish, Untapped Reservoir on Esamir, and Sunken Relay Station on Endar have been converted over to self-restocking silos controlled by the faction that owns that region. These silos double as capture points for that region, which will allow anyone to set up a base in that area the moment they arrive, without needing to do all the upfront harvesting required to begin a construction base. Now, you can still build anywhere on the map that isn't a no construction zone, as you do currently on live, but we're creating more convenience for the lattice-based construction regions so that there will be bases to fight around more often. Here is a construction outpost silo at Burgess Overlook on Endar. New buildables. Currently, we're aiming for 10 new construction objects at minimum to foster more base variety while creating more fleshed out play spaces in and around these objects. Now, some of these buildables will be on the small side, meant to either help facilitate movement through and around a base or fill gaps in cover. These are things like a infantry tree stand, infantry tunnel that does not go underground, anti-air awning, and vehicle bridge. Below are a handful of objects that are fairly close to completion. The first one here is the command center. Now, the command center is a large structure that houses ground and air vehicle pads and a secure spawn room and equipment terminal. This is a command center at Untapped Reservoir on Esamir, by the way. The rebirthing center. More fortified than a spawn tube, the rebirthing center provides a spawn point and a secure equipment terminal for well-developed bases. New bulwark wall types can be seen in this wall shot as well. So as you can see on the left, it looks like they have a huge anchor and it's going to be a solid wall. Doesn't look like you can see through it, but that thing looks like it can take a lot of hits. Secure silo. While this object cannot prevent building decay like a normal silo, thus a normal public silo is still necessary, builders can use this secure silo to store additional cordium for themselves or their squad mates. So that picture that we saw recently that I shared with you guys, and we were trying to guess what it was, it is a silo. Module dispenser. A buildable with a small footprint that allows you to pull modules directly from it. Useful for having quick access to modules near the defensive perimeter of your base. So instead of going to your silo to pull your modules from, you can have one of these dispensers on the front lines so you can quickly pull, like they said. Revisiting buildables. We've made updates to a number of the existing buildables to create more spaces for play in and around. High-impact construction objects like the orbital strike uplink will require more thoughtful placement than before, whereas lower-impact objects like the bunker will become easier to place. Many construction objects have gotten a facelift as well in both visuals and function. We'll show off more of those later. Here is the orbital strike uplink here. Looks like it takes up a lot more space than what it used to. The OS uplink now has an interior and exterior play space. It still maintains a fairly small footprint due to the spiral staircase design and overhanging landings. They said a fairly small footprint. I'm going to say not really. I remember currently right now you can put up the orbital and it can fit honestly really anywhere in small tight spaces. This thing looks a lot bigger, so this thing is going to be a lot more difficult. You're going to have a lot more room to place this thing down. The bunker. Now, the bunker overall's footprint has decreased. The roof is now easier to access and the equipment terminal inside has been removed. This is a picture of the bunker outside of Untapped Reservoir on Esamir. The bunker can be placed more easily now and lines up better against rampart walls. Modules. Let's get into modules here. In the original announcement, we mentioned that modules would be moving to handheld items that are socketed into construction objects. This allows buildings to be customized according to the needs of your base. It was also meant to replace the passive cordium drain for something more active. In previous iterations, we've mentioned a 20-minute timer on standard modules. Concerns were raised, of course, about the general upkeep of construction bases becoming tedious, and we agree, just running back and forth from your base. Oh, this module's up, let's replace this one. This module's up, we gotta run back and replace this one. So I'm glad that they agree with that. All of the standard modules will now stick around until replaced. Fantastic. And the high pressure modules used while you're under attack will be where we focus much of the upkeep cost. Now that makes a lot more sense. So of course, you know, the high pressure modules, of course you're going to have to run those back and forth. I understand that. I'm really glad that there's not timers on all of them now. So that's really cool. In order to place a module, you will just need to grab one from the silo or module dispenser and head over to a module socket within a compatible structure. We're currently working on UI efforts to make it easier to know where a module can and can't be placed, and I'm sure you'll see some progress about this in a later article. Now, watching this video replay over and over again, you know, I thought, you know, okay, you know, they're going to update construction, you know, it's going to be different, but this is way different than, you know, what I was expecting. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just, you know, completely different from, you know, what I pictured in my head when they talked about socketing modules. You know, I thought it would be more of, you know, a circular hole, you know, in the wall, and you would socket them that way. Not so much this kind of, it looks like kind of like a capture the flag animation that they're using here. So, odds and ends. The only other notable part of our initial design that has deviated a bit is regarding cordium harvesting. Now, some of you mentioned that it didn't seem to add much to the experience, and many of you felt that harvesting is in a decent state as it is. We've scrapped the original proposal for picking apart cordium veins with gunfire, and will stick with the experience you're familiar with for now. You will, however, still receive expanded cordium tanks and mineral radar by default on the Ant. Awesome. And we've made some quality of life changes to make the Ant's mining HUD more reliable as well. Drop shadow on the UI interface, along with text under each column. The wrap up. While we don't have a testing date lined up for the update just yet, it will likely end up in late April. Late April, guys. Note that take this with a grain of salt, as there's still a lot to get done, along with continuing to maintain a balance between construction's development, our live content cadence, and other studios' initiatives this year. Look forward to more information once we're a bit further along. Thanks, folks, from Rel, the lead designer. Now here, lastly, is a picture of the new recon array to make the life of a stalker infiltrator just that much more difficult. So, lots to unpack here, guys. Lots to unpack here. So this is a recon array here, like we thought. So they weren't sticking with the cordium stuff. Let's go back to that real quick. They were talking about cutting it off in chunks first and then driving over it to pick up chunks of cordium. They're not doing that. The next thing they thought about doing was adding like pressure points on the cordium, to where when you hit those pressure plates with your harvesters, you know, you would get like double the cordium back from those little, you know, spots in the vein. I guess they're not doing that. They just kind of fixed up the HUD a bit there. Looking back at the modules, like I said, this thing, I could watch this thing all day just to try to wrap my head around it. I don't know. I don't. What do you guys think about the module stuff? You know, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts about this. The bunker, I'm glad that they took the terminal out of the bunker and that they made it easier to, you know, set up walls around it. Those bulwark walls look really cool too. We'll get back to that. The orbital strike, it's going to be bigger, going to take up more space. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it is what it is. I guess. I mean, so can they destroy the outer walls and the orbital strike will still be there? I doubt it. I'm sure once, you know, if a tank is hitting this side of the wall, they don't have to hit the actual orbital strike, the actual structure itself up here. You know, they can just like hit these walls and then it blows up. So I don't really know how I feel about that one. The module dispenser is an interesting concept. I'm not sure how that's going to go. It is nice, you know, you're getting flanked from a certain direction. You can go to the module dispenser that is in that area to put in your high pressure modules instead of running all the way back to the silo, then running, you know, back to wherever you need to deposit those high pressure modules in order to defend, you know, your walls and stuff, you know, without getting killed. So I do like this. You know, we'll just have to see it in practice. Secure silo. That's what a lot of people were saying. I thought it was something else. Some people thought it was going to be a generator. possibly for your walls, because you know they're trying to implement the construction things to be more along the lines of what's already in the game. So because there's a terminal right there in the front, so I guess this is a secure silo, not a generator. Rebirthing center, we've seen a lot of pictures about this. It's going to be where you spawn at, along with a equipment terminal, and plus those walls to the left of it. Now a lot of this stuff looks very bulky, a lot of edges, a lot of hidey places for an infiltrator to just kind of sit back and camp. I don't know about that either. We'll have to see, especially the command center. Looking at this thing is pretty big. You can see some kind of structure there to the right. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, hopefully late April. They said they said to take it with a grain of salt, so we'll have to see how that goes. But in all, I'm excited. I'm ready to get my hands on this, like I've said before. What are your thoughts? I'd like to get to know what you guys think about all of this. If you need, I'm gonna put down in the description the link to the actual article, so you can go through that and read it yourself, line by line, or look at these pictures again. But that's gonna be it for me today. So I hope you guys have a great day, great night, and I will see you guys in game.